Okay, I think are we almost ready, Priya?
Yep, I think we can get started.
Okay.
We have 30 people viewing so far.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're all ready for the last session of the event. And I hope this has been helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback. As always, you can leave it on the wall. I'm going to talk a bit about Scholarships Canada for this final presentation. We'll walk through the site, show you how, if you don't have an account, how you can create an account and how you can get matched to scholarships. So I think we're trying to get a poll launched. I'm not sure if it's running, but we will try to do that. I think it'll be in the right panel as you're looking at the presentation. And we want to know what everyone thinks about Canada versus Belgium, which is a soccer game starting in about an hour. So Canada, if you don't know, is not a World Cup contender. I think the last time we were at the World Cup was 36 years ago. So we're all very excited in this country to see how Canada can do on the pitch with the world's best. We're playing Belgium. Let us know once we get the poll up and running who you think will win. Okay, so I am going to talk a bit about Scholarships Canada and how you can find scholarships and other financing options in order to come and study in Canada, and also talk about how you can win scholarships while you're here. So many scholarships, as we'll see in a bit, are not just for entrance, but for second, third, and fourth year of university and also for grad school. My name is Chris, by the way, and I founded this company many years ago and started the process of looking for a business school and tried a couple of different schools, went to see a bunch of schools, wanted to study somewhere outside of Canada, ended up at the London Business School, and it was a great experience. So for all of you coming to Canada, it's just a great experience to live in a different culture for 2 or 4 or more years. And so I wish you all the best. So we'll talk a bit about some of the costs, some of the myths about scholarships. We'll answer questions. I'll try to field them at the end of the presentation, but feel free to post them as they come to mind. So this is just a kind of a fun fact. We often get the question, is a post-secondary education worth it? I mean, it's expensive. If you're coming to Canada to study from outside of Canada, it might be $30,000 plus a year for tuition, plus travel, accommodation, and other fees. So it's not inexpensive at all. But on the bright side, if there is a bright side or the silver lining, once you finish your bachelor degree, over your career lifespan, which may be until you work until you're 65 or longer, you're going to make more than $1 million. You'll make $1 million more than you would have without that bachelor degree. So although it's expensive, if you want to look at it as a return on investment, it's a pretty good return. And in addition to making that much more once you have a bachelor degree, you're also going to in a way be happier, or maybe in a sense a better person. The research that the World Bank did a number of years ago sort of indicated that students who went on and did a post-secondary degree were more environmentally conscious, were healthier, and had a higher civic participation, which I think all in sums up, probably a better, happier existence. So it's not just the money; it's the other benefits of getting a degree. We're going to talk a bit about scholarships, but just to clear the air, a scholarship technically is based on merit, so marks. We use scholarships to define all the awards really on the site, so Scholarships Canada. But scholarships per se, or technically, are for awards that are based on merit, like grades. Bursaries are awards that are based on financial need, and a grant is something that you often get for graduate studies, and it's sort of another type of award. Scholarships, sometimes if they're awarded by the school, will go to towards tuition, so they may be deposited or given directly to the school. There are other awards where you'll get a cash amount or a check or an e-transfer, and then you can apply that to more than just school. It could be applied to savings. It could be applied to all sorts of different things. And then there are different sources of funding. You can look at loans. We had Empower present earlier today. So they're bank loans. Empower is providing loans. There are other sources for loans. You can source money from family and friends and parents, and of course work. The Canadian government has extended the amount of hours that you can work as an international student in Canada once you're here studying, from 20 hours to, I believe, 40, which means that you can earn more money while you're studying. Our only caveat or comment to that would be just beware that you don't want to risk lower grades, and in a way kind of risking your whole education experience by working too many hours. So you've got to balance it, but it does give you the option to work more than 20 hours a week. So what could it cover? It can cover, as I said earlier, if it's directly from the school, or some scholarships will be deposited with the school, so it's for tuition or whatever else, and other scholarship money can be spent to cover anything from entertainment to transit and phone bills, textbooks, etc. Scholarship myths. So there are a number of what we call myths about scholarships that we like to clear up. The first one is marks. You do need, with some scholarships, to have marks, and we will indicate when you look at a scholarship on the website what the sort of requirement is in terms of marks. But 85% of the awards in the database, which is 100,000 scholarships, so many scholarships worth millions and millions of dollars, 85% of those awards don't require any academic average at all. So 50% do, but most don't. So just because you don't have the highest marks, don't let that discourage you. You may be eligible for scholarships. There's a lot of competition. We do research with different scholarship administrators, and we're talking to them. We do some tracking. We do surveys and whatnot, and they will tell us, 59% will tell us that they want more applications. So they have a scholarship listing, and there applications as they want. So feel free to apply. And 3% don't receive any applications at all. So there are scholarships out there that will be very have a low sort of threshold in terms of competition. We'll see in a minute how you can see what the sort of popularity for a scholarship is. And one of our recommendations is go for the ones that are less popular. There's less competition. Only schools give scholarships. I mentioned that earlier. Many schools will provide scholarships. They may or may not be on the website on Scholarships Canada. But if they're not, you can contact the school or go to the school website, and it's easy enough to find them. Many of the school scholarships will also be automatic consideration, but check. And so those scholarships will be awarded. You may win them. And as I said, it's in many cases just deposited as part of your tuition into their bank account, into the tuition kitty. We have a lot of scholarships on Scholarships Canada, though, that have no affiliation with a school. So these are scholarships awarded by a bank or a financial institution, a company, an association, a religious organization, trade union. So all sorts of different groups will provide scholarships. And some of them may be, just some sort of heritage or affiliation, especially with trade unions. It's possible, even as an international student, if you're coming in and your parents or you are affiliated with a group, you may be eligible for a scholarship. Scholarship deadlines are only in the spring. Traditionally, scholarships awards are given as you're thinking about going into first year entrance. And so that's the spring for entering in the fall. But many scholarships, in fact, they're split pretty evenly throughout the year. So there are many, of course, given in the spring, but many in the fall, and then many throughout the year. And they're also given throughout your educational life. So if you're in first year, you're going into first year, there are lots of entrance scholarships, but there may be scholarships that you're eligible for in years 2, 3, and 4. And there are many scholarships that are renewable. So as long as you keep your grades or the conditions that the scholarship was given under, as long as you maintain that, you may be eligible for scholarships for 3 or 4 years. I'm not in financial need. Another myth. So, most of the scholarships or bursaries require financial need. And in fact, only 36% of the scholarships on the site require you to be in financial need. So another myth dispelled. Here's a checklist. We'll provide the deck, and I think we're recording the session so you can revisit this after. But here are some important reminders about sort of what we've just covered. There's a scholarship for you. I'm going to jump onto the site in a minute, but we'll take a look at some of the profiles. So here's a retail education scholarship. So if you have retail experience, don't need to be in financial need. You can apply for any year of study. It's diploma or bachelor, so college or university. No academic average, up to $3,000 or $5,000, and there are 18 available. You'll notice too on the screen here that we have all the details that we've just gone over, but the apply now and more information. So we provide links, and most profiles at the bottom also have phone numbers or websites or all that sort of stuff. But there are links at the top of the page that make it easy for you to apply or go to the website where the application is being housed. Ulster University Canadian Scholarship. These are specifically for Canadian students. This is an example of awards for students going out of Canada. There will be similar examples for students coming into Canada from outside. Another award here, and I don't know if you can see it. Maybe we'll wait till we get to the website, but see the eligibility or the popularity. Another award. So this last one was 2,500. This one is 40,000. They will range. There are awards that are worth thousands and thousands. I think the average is in and around 3,000 to 5,000. And there are some that are below that. As it turns out, the smaller valued awards are probably less competitive. So one strategy is to try and find as many as possible, especially the smaller awards, to apply to those. And you may have better success. If you're one of 3,000 students applying for a $30,000 scholarship, your chances of winning are much lower than if you're one of 30 students applying for a $2,500 scholarship. So some things to consider before you start your search and create a profile, which we'll look at in a minute. Field of study is where you're going to be studying, what you're interested in. Year of study, are you going into first year, second, third, or fourth, or graduate studies? Activities, this is a biggie, so try to identify all the activities that you may stand out in. You may see leadership and say, well, what's that? I'm not actively leading, but you may be if you are, and there are many scholarships that sort of look for leadership or community involvement. If you're involved in your community, if you've done something that kind of makes you stand out from other people, that may count. So don't discount it. Academic average, your most recent grades. Heritage, there are scholarships on the website that are for people from specific different heritages. So make sure you identify all of them that apply. Affiliation, we spoke about earlier. Any group that you're associated with, company, trade union, etc., list it. Personal circumstances, there's scholarships for people who've had a brain injury or an amputee or foster child, etc. So lots of different awards there. Make sure, or circumstances, make sure you identify them. Financial need goes without saying anything. Location, where you live. And let's, with that, flip over to the website. So I'll just exit out of here. So we are on Scholarships Canada now. So this is the site. You can browse scholarships without signing in. We highly recommend signing in because we'll match you to the scholarships that you're most suited for. So we go from whatever 100,000 scholarships down to 100 or less. And it just makes the whole process a lot easier to find scholarships that you may want to apply to. The featured scholarships are on the site here. These are ones that the services, by the way, are all free for you to use. We don't charge for anything on the site. We make it work though, and we kind of pay everyone who works here through offering things like featured scholarships. So these folks are featuring their scholarship. They're paying a certain amount of money that makes it, pays for the site, makes it available for you for free. So you can click on any one of them. So Mount A, who was presenting earlier today. So this is their scholarship. As an international student, what you're going to be looking for is citizenship. So in this case, it's citizenship any. So you may be eligible for this. It's bachelor level, entering first year. So more details. If it looks interesting to me, I can apply. So I'll click apply now. And I'll flip over to Mount A's site. So it looks like I have to log in or create an account. And so that's how that works. I'll go back. So I can look at other ones here, and they're all there for me to sort of view and check out. Not much matching, but I can read them. There's not a lot to look at. Browse scholarships is a new section that we've added. So if you're trying to look for scholarships based on a certain kind of criteria. So we did one for arts students, for Black students, for scholarships for business students, grad students, etc. There's one here for international students. So this is like a quick search on all the scholarships, and right now there's 38,000 that you may be eligible for. Now, we encourage you to sign in. You can see some details, but it's sort of truncated down here. And then the listing is truncated, but we encourage you to sign in or log back in, sign up or log back in as a way to better match. So I will do that now. So I'm going to log in with my account, and we'll see what your account looks like. So this is me. And if I flip over here, these are the questions that you would be asked when you log in or sign up. We don't share this information unless you give us permission to. So if you're looking for a school, it might be shared with the school if you opt in to request information or have them contact you. Otherwise, we really don't use it unless we're doing email campaigns, which you subscribe to. It's really used to help better match you to awards. So there's basic information, my current education. So where am I at now, which with marks. So if I'm looking at entrance awards, it helps to have the marks. If you're not sure what your percentage is, there's GPA conversion, a little help stuff here. I'm living in India. And I'm interested in these programs. So this will help in terms of field of interest is important in terms of sort of matching based on field of interest. Interested in studying anywhere in Canada. I'll say other countries as well. Scholarship profile. So these are some of the heritage questions or the heritage options, the extracurricular options. So again, make sure that there's luge here, which if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like bobsledding. There's probably football or soccer in North America, etc. Personal circumstances, again, anything here that applies, select it. Affiliation, I think there's so many of them, we have kind of a quick, like a keyword search here. So I select that, Canadian Union of Public Employees, and then save, and I got matching schools. So I've been matched to this school as part of the process. And now if I'm not interested in that school, I can carry on and view my dashboard. So there are 82 scholarships that I potentially could win that I've been matched to. I can explore them all. I've got some quick links here. I indicated I was interested in cyber forensics and security and whatnot. So there are some links here if I'm interested in exploring those a little more. Let's see if there's something here. There are 21 scholarships. So I may not have been matched, but if I'm interested, I can go out and look at these. And if there's one in particular I like, I can look at it. If I really like it, I can save it. And that will show up in a minute. We'll see on my dashboard. This particular award is moderate. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got 2 bars, not 4. So there's moderate interest. And it's probably, let's see what the value is, $4,000. So it's not bad. I mean, if this is something that I think I could win, I might go after it. It requires a cover letter, a CV, transcripts, etc. So the details of what is needed are there. It's any school, these programs, any year, permanent resident, citizenship Canadian. So this particular one, if I'm not Canadian, that may not be for me. With some of these non-academic awards, though, are not given by the school. If you're not sure and everything else fits, but maybe not your Canadian status, it's not out of the question to email them or call them. And so the contact information will be listed below here at the bottom, so that if you want to reach out, you can. And I would encourage you to do that. I mean, you've seen today, there are a lot of people, advisors, recruiters, and scholarship administrators, and that really want to help you, students in general, but help you if they can. And they're more than willing to help if you reach out, but you have to reach out first. Okay, I'm going to flip back to my dashboard. So I have seen now, if I go to save scholarships, I save that one. So I've got a bunch here that I've saved in the past. And yeah, so this is my short list. They have deadlines coming up. So there's 2 here that are coming. This one just passed. So how do you manage deadlines? Now, these are smaller. Let's STEM lights up me scholarship, $500. Go back to STEM, lights me up. And oops, lost it. I bet that at that amount, the popularity is quite low. Let's take a look at let's take a look at matching schools. So when you create a profile, and I think you just saw that Algonquin came up, we're going to match you to schools. So based on my profile, if I'm not already at a school, Algonquin might be a school that I want more information on. So I can select that and request more information. I can see more on Algonquin. And if I want to see the school itself, how do I see that? There we go. Nope, I'm done. Let's jump back to dashboard. Quizzes. It came up today, earlier in the Studying Canada session, that there are some quizzes or some people that aren't sure what they want to do. So who do I apply? Where do I apply? What do I apply to? What program? The career quiz is a great start. So if you're not sure, you click the career quiz. I've done it again, but I can start it. I've done it already. I can start again. But I click the career quiz, and I see what I'm probably most aligned with, or I have an affinity for. So in my case, it's research sciences, maybe arts creative, however strange that might be, natural sciences, or resources and environment. And I've got different options at college, which is typically 2-year diploma, but not always. Universities, which is typically bachelor, but not always. And grad school, which is master's and doctorate. So if I'm interested in research sciences, I've got a list of careers here that I could explore more. And I've got the schools that offer programs to get into that specific career. You'll notice I've also jumped from Scholarships Canada to School Finder. All 3 of our sites, School Finder, Scholarships Canada, and Studying Canada, are linked in that way. Okay. I do want to look at maybe some more on popularity. Let's expand. Let's actually go to dashboard, view all. So as you're managing your scholarships, you're going to want to save the ones that you want to be the ones that you want to discard. You can say, like, I'm not interested. I don't want to see them in my list. You can discard them. I've discarded one here. I've saved one couple in here. So these are the ones I'm sort of keen on. And then these are all of my matching scholarships. The deadlines do come up, and they're, as we saw before, there's deadlines throughout the year, not just entrance. So to maintain that or manage that, we recommend that you go to back here to your subscription status and make sure that you are subscribed to scholarships, to deadline alerts. Let me log in again. And it's right here. So subscription preference, deadline alerts go out once a month. So you will be alerted to any scholarship, or for any scholarship that has a deadline coming up in the next 40 days. And so this is really super helpful, highly recommended. And it is located right here, scholarship deadline alerts. You want to make sure you're subscribed to that. You can do that as you set up your account, or do it as as we just saw, when you're kind of logged in on the dashboard. The other information's up to you, like school information. If you already decided what school you're going to go to, probably don't want that, but you can subscribe to that. Promotions and offers, probably worth it. There's things that we might email on behalf of banks, and maybe awards or other sort of stuff that might be interesting. School Finder group messages, also interesting. We might, if you're subscribed to that, we would let you know about events like this. Newsletter is great if you're kind of Studying Canada or School Finder, if you're Canadian or international. It's good just to keep abreast of what's going on. It's a monthly email that goes out, talks about events and other things that might be useful. And website tracking, we track things to try and make it easier for you to use the website. So if you opt into this, then it helps us. We don't, again, as I said, release the information or sell it or give it out to anyone, but it does help us in terms of maximizing and improving the site. Okay, I'm going to jump to resources, and then we'll do some Q&A. So tips are really kind of handy. 7 tips to include when applying to scholarships, small or big awards, the 5 myths we just talked about, finding scholarships to study abroad. So there's all sorts of useful information here. FAQs, the same thing, kind of organized around the scholarship process. So the application checklist, we talk about what's important here in terms of your application. the scholarship eligibility listings. So all that sort of stuff is really helpful. I think alternate financing. There are other options. So here's some quick links to the scholarship browse, alternate aid, writing a strong application. So all sorts of useful information there. Award winners, woohoo! We'll put a profile on the site for students who've won an award. It's kind of something we do after a scholarship. There aren't going to be a ton of them here, but they'll give you some insight into the student and maybe what they did to win the award, which helps in terms of, okay, could I get it? What do I need to do? A section for counselors, events. Let's take a quick look at that. So many universities and colleges, scholarship administrators, companies are doing events, in-person or virtual events. We'll try to list them here, as many as we can. It's free to list. There are 118 events. Algonquin College, we saw a minute ago, is having a mature student session. Thompson Rivers, so schools across Canada and outside of Canada. Some of these will be virtual, some will be in person. If you're outside of Canada, you probably want the online events, and you can get more information here on what so this is a webinar, it's online. If I'm interested in attending this, which is today in about 15 minutes, I click register and I go off to the site to register for that event. So if you're not, if you haven't made that final decision on what school to apply to, the events section may be just the perfect thing for you in order to connect, much as you've done today, with schools and scholarship administrators, companies, etc. We have a job board too that may be of interest, and then I'm going to stop and ask some questions. Let's take a quick look at Discover and then off to the job board. So more articles here, a little bit like the FAQ and tips. These are published typically, 1 or 2 a week are distributed on the site, and they're meant to help you with your search and your kind of the process of getting finding scholarships and winning them. And then, the job board here. So there is a job board in one of the job boards that we've kind of just plugged in here. And this may be helpful in terms of finding work. You can sort by part-time, full-time. It should pre-populate to wherever you're located based on your IP, and it makes it easy to find potential work. So if you want to work that 20 hours a week, or maybe more, this may be a great start. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to look at questions. And I'm going to look at the polls. Everyone answered the poll. I don't know, Prey, if we have a winner. Okay, there seem to be a lot of questions. We've got a few minutes here, so we'll dive right in. So there's a question about living in Kenya and trying to get into Canada. Does the government provide any support? The Canadian government will certainly provide direction and moral support. I'm not sure how much, and there may be some awards. You can, again, try Scholarships Canada, but there are other, like the Canadian government website may have some awards. You just dig around a little bit and see what you can find. Unfortunately, the cost of an international education is higher than it is for a Canadian student because the government doesn't subsidize as much of it. And there are, at the end of the day, fewer awards for international students. But that doesn't mean there aren't awards. So if you do a little bit of digging, you may find some useful stuff. I'm financially broke and want to learn in Canada. Please assist in. Okay, so if you're these were asked several hours ago too. I mean it's difficult. If you don't have the finances, you're going to have to see if you can find them, and you have to do a little digging. Scholarships Canada is a great start. Reaching out to schools, reaching out to your network, do whatever you can, right? I'm from Nigeria. I want to know if I'm eligible to apply for a scholarship. The answer is yes. It depends on what you're studying and where you want to study, but there's probably something out there for you, and then you have to win it. But biochemistry graduate program, how do I go about it? I would look up the schools that offer biochemistry, and you can do that on School Finder or Study in Canada. And I would see what kind of options there are there. Obviously, set up an account on Scholarships Canada and see what you can do. I'm from Syria. I'm interested in postgraduate studies. Same thing. A study visa for Canada. It's best to go to the site, and there will be links on Study in Canada to the site to get more information on the visa and what's required. So I'm interested in graduate programs. Same thing. Create a profile in Scholarships Canada, see what you get matched to, and then when you have a short list of programs and schools you want to apply to, I would start reaching out to them. Look on their website, see what's posted, and see what's available. Is there a fully funded scholarship opportunity for international nurses? Not to my knowledge, not fully funded, but there may be something. What is the score requirement for IELTS? It will depend on the school. So the program, if I flip back to this, and let's move over. Study in Canada is our international website. There may be information here on test scores, like IELTS, English as a second language. And in this particular case, this is University of Waterloo. There is a link to their website where you can get more information. Okay. What else do we have? What are the general scholarship requirements for international students, please? I don't know that you can generalize it. I mean, there are going to be scholarships that you may be eligible for, and it's just based on an affiliation or an activity. And then there will be others that are based on marks and the program of study. It really depends. So that's where the site, I think, can help. Go Canada. I like that. Okay. I don't know what the poll, let's see if I've got it here. 61% say Canada will win. We'll see. I hope so. Belgium's a very good team. Okay. I think, is this it? Can I get more than one scholarship? Yes. Good question. The universities and colleges, if you win one of their scholarships, or if you're automatically considered and win it, you may only be eligible for that scholarship. But you can check again with the university or college. With the on Scholarships Canada, with the non-education related scholarships, if you can win, any number, 3, 30, it doesn't matter. Often, if a company, we saw Retail Council was offering retail related scholarships, and I think they had 18. You can't win 18. You can't win more than one, but there are 18 given. But you could win one from the Retail Council. You could win one from any other, any other number of scholarship providers. And there's really no limit. They don't track that. Okay. Who do we contact when we need more information on certain scholarship programs? I would use the contact information on the scholarship listing to get more information. So if you're interested in this Marjorie Bell scholarship for $12,000, Mount Allison, and you have any questions at all, there will be contact information down here and here. So more info, and this will take you to Mount A. It may be, you may have to scroll a little bit to find out more, but you've got a direct link here. Okay, so there's an email address and there's a phone number, and by all means reach out to them if you're not sure. Okay. What is required in order to keep the scholarship I'm eligible for or have received? So if it's renewable, and it will indicate whether it's renewable in the profile here. If it's, this one is a good example. Great. So it's renewable for 4 years. So generally, if you're going to win it for every year for 4 years, you will need to keep up the whatever the requirements are. So if it's marks, you will need to keep those marks up. If it's let's see, I don't see anything with marks. So this one, if you're obviously you have to be going to Mount Allison. So if you continue to go to Mount Allison for 4 years, you may be eligible for it all 4 years. Okay, so I'm just reading the details, but it's all on the site, so you can find it. So this would be, yeah, as long as you're going to Mount A, you're probably eligible for it. Again, if you're not sure, ask. What else do we have? Sports scholarships. Yep, there are sports scholarships. So when you create your profile, make sure that you add your any sports that you're kind of active in. And that will be listed under activities. So maybe, I mean, I checked soccer, maybe baseball, badminton. The Canadian universities and colleges don't offer quite the same level as U.S. colleges and universities do for some of the sports scholarships, but there will be some that relate to different activities and sports. How do your scholarships change from year to year? We try to address and update all scholarships once a year. The scholarships, there may be new scholarships added though. So from year to year, if you want to make sure you don't miss out, A, keep your profile up to date, and B, subscribe to scholarship deadline alerts so that you don't miss anything. Okay. When transferring to another school, does the scholarship still count? If it's a scholarship that you were awarded by a company, an organization, or whatever, you may be able to. It may transfer with you. It may, as long as you're kind of meeting the same requirements. Like some scholarships. Let's see if there's one here. CMA. So this is the Canadian Marketing Association as a scholarship. I think you need to be
post-secondary.
If you transfer from one post-secondary institution to another, you would not lose this scholarship. But if you're at a school like Mount A, we just saw, if you're at Mount A and they give you that renewable scholarship, and in the second year you want to move to St. FX or another school, no, you wouldn't be able. It wouldn't be transferable. Okay, so it would relate just to that school. I think that's just about it, and we're just about on time. Yeah, I think we've got them all. Thank you very much. I hope this was useful. Please leave your comments on the wall, and we hope this was helpful. We'd love to hear from you. And if you don't have an account on Scholarships Canada or Study in Canada, we'd encourage you to create one. So it just makes it a little easier. Programs, scholarships, careers, whatever. But also, so you're on and I would subscribe to at least some of the mailing lists so that we can contact you and let you know about other opportunities or what's going on. So I think with that, thank you very much, and best of luck, and enjoy the World Cup. Okay.